Okay, for the last part of 11.1, we're asked, taking a look at all this money that students have in their possession in a classroom, and we want to know which is greater, the mean or the median. Well, if we take a look at the shape of this distribution, it's clearly skewed to the right, or it's positively skewed, and it has an outlier right here. So that outlier right there increases the mean. And the tail to the right pulls the mean larger than the median. So we have right here that the data is positively skewed. The mean is getting pulled in that direction. Therefore, the mean is greater than the median. Okay, and now moving on to 11.2 and 11.3. So talking about discrete and continuous random variables, x represents the time it takes a randomly selected classroom to reach from 68 degrees Fahrenheit from 60 degrees Fahrenheit. That is a continuous random variable because there are an infinite number of time lengths possible. It can be 60.4 degrees, 60.5 degrees, 61.283 degrees, an infinite number or an infinite time lengths that are possible. So that's why it is continuous variable. Whereas in number 2, we're looking for the number of photographs taken. Well, that's discrete because the number of photographs taken is countable. You can either take 1, 2, 3, 10, 15. It's definitely countable. You can't take 2.413 photographs on there. Okay, now once we're given an example like this, the table shows the number of cell phones owned by 100 randomly selected households. Construct a probability distribution for x, then find and interpret the mean in the context of the problem, and then after we're done with that, we're going to find the variance and the standard deviation. So let's take this data that we have right here and let's turn it into a probability distribution. So x would be the number of phones that somebody owns, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the p of x is the probability of it. So 2 out of 100 people, here's the 2 right here, 2 out of 100 people owned 0 phones, so that's 2% of the people owned 0 phones. 30 out of 100 people owned 1 phone, that's 30% of the people owned 1. In order to find the mean, a couple different things you could do. The easiest way would be to enter this data in your calculator. You want to put x in list 1, and you want to put the probability in list 2, and then follow these directions. You're going to press stat, arrow over to calculate. You want to do one variable stat, and then you want to do list 1 in list 2. This frequency list needs to say list 2. And then depending on what your calculator is like, you might need to do one variable stats list 1 comma list 2, and it will give you this right over here, which is the mean. On average, a household has 1.93 cell phones. Now, you guys need to know that variance is this symbol right here, and variance is just the standard deviation squared. So standard deviation is 0.886. On average, somebody owns 0.886 standard deviation, or someone is 0.886 phones away from the mean, and then the variance is just taking that number and squaring it.